Guys, I brought some reinforcements for this video. Whew, my hair's like sticking to me. I had to turn my air conditioning off to film this, and any person that creates things with like audio being important knows it's the biggest struggle because now I'm getting sticky, okay? Anyway, brought some reinforcements. Let's do some sipping, and I'm gonna do some truthin' over here, tell you guys some things. You guys asked me a lot of juicy stuff over on Instagram, and I intend on answering the questions. So let's just do it. I don't have a table over here, so if college taught me anything, it's how to be creative with your drinking and your holding of your receptacles. All right, guys, cheers. Cheers to you, cheers to me, cheers to this guy that I'm going on a date with who has no idea that 2 hours before our date, I am like having a heart-to-heart with a camera, sitting in my room, drinking wine by myself. He doesn't need to know. Question number one, can you see yourself living in the city forever? No, I don't think so. Like in a perfect world, I would have a place in the suburbs or somewhere and then have like a studio here in the city, or like a place where I can like do my art thing, do my creative graphic design thing. I do want to raise my kids with a similar childhood that I had, in the sense that I had, you know, room to roam, and I feel like having a kid here, I'd just be so stressed about their safety all the time. Like, I don't know, I can see maybe like for the first few years of my kids' lives, like having them here, but then I eventually want to be in a more suburban area. Like, I don't know if I want to be like in the heart of the suburbs, but I definitely think I want like a slower, so to speak, life when I have kids. But who knows, honestly, who the heck knows? I could see myself being here maybe, like things change. So you've been working out so much lately. That is true. So much more than I ever have in my entire life, actually, to be clear. Have you lost weight? Let me think about that. No, I have not lost weight. If anything, I think I've gained weight, because my goal with my trainer, which I've expressed here a few times, is to gain muscle. Like, I want to get stronger, I want to become more capable, I want to feel like I have more stamina. I haven't even weighed myself at all during the journey. I got this one really brutal message yesterday. Katie, you work out so much and yet you eat out all the time. Like, don't you worry that it's canceling out what you're doing at the gym, and like your gym investment is a waste of money? And I'm like, that is a fair point, but a mean point. Mean point. Justice for wine and dining, or whining and dining. Justice for whining and dining. Honestly, it's really the only reason for me to live. I love food, I love wine, I love martinis, I love like having those experiences with my friends, especially at this age. I'm not gonna give that up for a six-pack, I don't care. Any update on the AC boy love story? AC meaning air conditioning. Okay. If you guys don't listen to the podcast, you wouldn't know this. I'm gonna give a little Spark Notes story. Basically, I had my very own meet cute in the city. Like, I've always been wanting this to happen to me. I'm like, when is it going to occur that I'm like in the grocery store line or something, and like someone drops something, or I drop something and someone picks it up, and like we lock eyes and fall in love. Like, I always think it's gonna happen to me in the grocery store, or like in the park. Like, I am waiting for the moment where I'm like reading in the park and like a guy comes up to me and he's like, I couldn't help but wonder what you're reading. Like, I don't know, things like that. Like, I've been wanting my very own New York City meet cute, and it finally happened to me, and I'm just like on the edge of my seat, as you guys are, because you've heard the story, and now I'm just like biding my time. So backing things up, I ordered an air conditioning unit for my window, like a window unit, because I don't have central AC in here. It's like actually a tragedy. It gets really, really freaking hot in the city. If you guys know New York City heat, it's like you have to get an air conditioning unit in your window sooner rather than later, or suffer, basically. So I ordered this air conditioning unit, and it was like the hottest weekend so far this year, and I was like anxiously awaiting this delivery. And it was delivered, and then I also, luckily I got it through Best Buy, and they set you up with a technician that will install it for you. And you know, air conditioning units are heavy, they're in the window, so I always get nervous it's gonna like fall out and hit someone. So the AC unit arrives, and it's a really heavy box, so I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it in the lobby for a day until the guy can come. He can come the next day, so I'm like, okay, it's gonna be fine if it sits in the lobby for a day. It was like a Friday, it was gonna be a Saturday morning install. I'm like, it's fine. So Saturday morning comes, and the guy, the technician dude, calls me. Take a sip of wine for this, okay? It's getting hot in here and in the story. And he goes, hey, like, I'm here. I was like, perfect. It was like 8 a.m. I was like, perfect. The unit's in the lobby. You can bring it up, like, blah, blah, blah. He goes, there's nothing here. Like, there's no unit in the lobby. And I'm like, yes, there is. Like, duh. I'm like, I saw it last night. Obviously there is. And he's like, no, there's nothing here. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming down. So I go downstairs, lo and behold, nothing there. Like, no box, nothing. So long story short, my maintenance guy was able to track down the person who took the AC unit, like, pretty easily. I'm like honestly shocked that he was able to do that, so props to him. But he figured out who took it and got in touch with them to bring it back to me at some point. So I was like having calls, I had like gone to the gym, I was like sitting in my sports bra and leggings like on the floor answering emails or something, and I hear a knock at the door. And I'm like, okay, it's probably the person that lives in my building. And so far I've just seen like older people that live in my building, and like no one that like tickled my fancy that really like, you know, caused me to be like, ooh, okay, hi. But I now stand corrected because knock at the door, I open the door, and it is this like devastatingly attractive guy. Devastating, okay? Devastating. And at his feet is my air conditioning unit, and I'm like flustered because I look like shit. And he's like flustered because he took my air conditioning unit. So we have this like weird, awkward exchange where both of us are like shocked, because I don't think he was expecting me to be like young either, because like I said, this building's like typically, it's like a lot of older people. So I think he was shocked, I was shocked. It was like a whole moment of like awkward things that we said. I don't even remember, I like blacked out. He's like, I feel so horrible, like accidentally took it, cause like I got the same one, I didn't look at the label, and he's like rattling off all these excuses and whatever, and I'm like, I don't even care because you're so cute. You could like hit me with your truck and I would say thank you. Like, he was that cute, guys. So anyway, he's like, I feel so bad, can I help you install it? And me being the classic me that like can't ask for help or feels awkward when anyone does anything for me, classic, I was like, oh no, it's okay, don't worry, I have someone coming. Lie, I literally canceled my person to install it. So as he's leaving, he's like, oh, like, by the way, my name is so-and-so, hope to see you around. And I'm like, I think I just died. This was a little bit ago, and I hadn't seen him, and I'm like, was he a ghost? Like, does he not exist? Like, I hadn't run into him. I took like extra time in the hallway hoping I would see him. Nothing. But guys, last night I was leaving to go to an event and it was pouring rain, so I was standing under the cover of our like awning situation outside, and who walked out the door and looked at me and I looked at him, and it was this like looking situation. It was just like a full-on like moment. I don't know. I was like, hi. He walked, I walked to my Uber. I was like, okay, that didn't go as planned. I like had all these things planned to say to him, like, hope you found your air conditioning unit, like, I don't know. Anyway, guys, so that is the development with the story, and I'm going on a date tonight with someone else, and I feel like I'm cheating on my main love, my meet cute, AC guy. I will give you guys updates because I do, in fact, know where he lives. He knows where I live. Sorry, someone's moving something upstairs. So we'll see where it goes. Imagine if this is the way I meet my husband. Or he could have a girlfriend. Like, he very well could. I'm just being optimistic. Anyway, that's the story of the air conditioning cutie, and there's really no update besides that. Okay. Do you split the bill on dates? Usually. I never have, and I always wonder. Okay, so this is kind of like a matter of opinion here, or like a matter of situation, rather. It's definitely situational. Like, I don't think the answer is the same every single time, but my rule of thumb with this, if they ask you on the date, like if they initiate it, they pick the place, they pick the time, they pick all those little things, they should pay for it, I think. Like, if I'm like at a bar and I'm like, hey, meet me, I have no problem buying guys drinks. Like, it shouldn't be a weird thing. Obviously, everyone has a different opinion on this. Biggest learning of 2020/2021 so far. Biggest learning, oh my God, so many freaking things. I guess in a nutshell, I heard this quote: don't let your happiness depend on something that you can lose. And in 2020, so last year, I, like, for a brief moment there, I mean, a lot of us lost a lot of things. We lost our freedom to do certain things. We lost, you know, a lot of our friends were far away. Our family was far away. Some of us, like, quite literally lost family members and loved ones, which is very sad. People lost their jobs. People lost a lot of things. I was very fortunate not to lose many things. The transition from 2020 to 2021 just made me realize that the reason why I'm happy now is because I learned last year to not put all of my eggs in other people's baskets, in the sense that like I'm only going to be happy and fulfilled if I'm with my friends, if I am talking to a boy, if I am doing this, like all externally based, if that makes sense. I found my happiest self, which is how I am, I would say right now, I'm doing pretty well, guys, I will admit it, like in terms of my happiness, my overall demeanor, how I'm feeling. And I think that I am this way because I am finally, like all the eggs are in my basket now, if that makes sense, like most of the eggs. Granted, I do entertain dates and my friends, obviously, and my family, but if I don't see them for a few days, I'm not less of a person. I don't know, I think it's a confidence thing. I have more confidence in myself now, and there's a bunch of reasons for that. And I know that I am enough. Hello, traffic. I am enough, okay? Long story short, that quote that I said earlier, don't let your happiness fully depend on things that you can lose. I think it's wrong not to put at least a little bit, a few eggs in the baskets of others, but it's so important not to lose yourself in the process, okay? It's really important. And I learned that the hard way. You know, I'm like still putting myself out there, still, you know, enjoying the city, enjoying this life that I have, but I shifted my priorities a little bit. I'm now realizing that spending time with myself and bettering myself is not wasted time. It's not as lonely. It doesn't feel as lonely as it used to. Favorite Taylor Swift song? Okay, that's really freaking hard. I'm gonna give 2 songs. Okay, favorite one, like recent song, like of the past 2 albums, is August. I love August. I think it's one of her most beautiful songs. It's a really great song. But my favorite, like overall song is kind of a sleeper. It's Holy Ground. Like Holy Ground, put Holy Ground on in a bar. I am freaking on the bar, buying everyone shots. Like, someone please play Holy Ground in a bar. Please. Please. And can we all be there? I am freaking obsessed with this song. It's kind of a sleeper, I have to say, because I don't feel like it's at people's, like, the top of their list, but I love Holy Ground. How do you motivate yourself to date after past bad experiences? Okay, a quote just like popped in my head from, I believe it's A Cinderella Story, Hilary Duff, like the Hilary Duff version. Could be wrong, but I think it's like, don't let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. Is that the quote? I think it is. There's like a million like legendary quotes from that movie, especially when she's like, you're like waiting for rain in this drought, like hopeless and disappointing or something. Hilary Duff spits fire, I'm telling you. Anyway, so don't let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. That's kind of my mantra with it. It's like, you're gonna have bad dates. Like, I always just go into it with such a level mind now where I'm like, this could be great, this could be horrible. You guys know I say this on my podcast all the time, but it's either love or a lesson, people, okay? You go on a date, could be great, could be love for a short time, for a long time, or it could be horrible, and that's a lesson. Everybody gather around. Let's just picture this, okay? You go on 17 horrible dates. Horrible date after horrible date after horrible date. Maybe some like decent ones sprinkled in there, but nothing like out of the ordinary exciting. And you know, you could have stopped after 16 dates or 15 or 4 or I don't even know, but you made it to 17 dates. Now imagine after 17 dates, you stop. You know, and this is like over the span of like a year or a few years, I don't know. Not in like 1 week. We don't have that kind of time, okay? And then imagine you find yourself in the opportunity of going on an 18th date and you're like, oh, I've just had so many bad dates. Like, I'm sick of dating, I'm sick of it. And that 18th date is when you meet your person. Like, what if you didn't go on that date because you were too fatigued from all the bad ones? Obviously, it's different for everybody. I don't think you should, do something you don't want to do. But if you meet someone and you're like, this could be something, I think you're kind of doing yourself a disservice, not just seeing what's going on. Like, if it's, a hit or a miss. I always tell my friends, it's like, what do you have to lose? Seriously, what do you have to lose? Nothing. You only have things to gain. So, Okay, next question. What is your dream for Katy at 30? So 5 years from now. Okay, actually a little bit less than 5 years because I am officially 25 and I'm really horrible at math, but I am April, May, June. I am 25 and a half plus 2 months. So I'm like, I don't even know what fraction that is. But I am very dangerously close to 26. Have you been able to see my toilet this whole time? Awesome. I was watching one of my old YouTube videos this morning and I was like, in the video, I'm like, I'm only 18, so, and I'm like, oh my God, I was 18. Like at one point in time, I was 18. Like you were 18, we were all 18, and now I'm almost 26. What the heck? What the heck? In one of my old videos, I actually said like, someone was like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And this was when I was 18. And I'm like, oh, in 10 years, I'll be 28. And I like shuddered. I'm like, oh, I'll be so old. And I'm like sipping my coffee, watching this video this morning. And I'm like, shut up, Katie. 28 is not old. And I'm like, I hope I'll have a long-term boyfriend by then. And I'm like, awesome, that was my goal. That was my goal at 18. Whew. Anyway, you guys have had to deal with me this whole time while I've had that as my goal. Okay, so without having time to like properly ponder this question, this is just like my off-the-cuff answer. I hope when I'm 30, saying this sounds pretty silly and like privileged, but like super privileged, guys, so privileged. I hope that at 30, my life is just without chaos, without question. And I think that's like a very lofty, crazy thing to say, but I just, maybe as little as possible, like I just want to do things. I want to live without much question of like, is this the right thing? I guess that's what I mean. Like I want to live intentionally and know that all the choices I'm making are from the heart and they're not based on what other people will think of me. Like I want to be without chaos in that way, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's something that everybody wants, but I want to know and with conviction that I've lived my life in a way that I've meant every choice and what's the word? I'm just like firm. I'm like a stone, you know, in a rushing river of chaos. Like I am a stone and I'm firm. I know what I want. I know what I deserve, and I'm not chaotic in my choices, if that makes sense. That's what I want to be like at 30. I don't know if I'll be married. Probably not. Probably not. I don't even know if I'll be engaged at 30 at this rate. I'm just like too focused on other things, I think. Like, and who knows? It'll be fun watching this video back. Okay, last question I'm going to answer in this Q&A because I think I've been talking for a bit and I need to like zhuzh myself up again for this date. I'm like, my hair is like deflating. Have you seen my hair just slowly deflate throughout this video? Last question, what did you like about your old apartment versus this new one? So I guess like pros and cons. This apartment overall I think is like my best one that I've had so far, in terms of location, in terms of the size and the layout and how I've been able to decorate it. I'm just very proud of this apartment so far, and I've only been here for like 3 months. Granted, I haven't been here yet in like the dead of winter, so a New York winter can be very brutal, so we'll see how that goes. It's definitely a telling sign of whether or not you like your apartment, like if you can be there all winter and not go insane. So we'll see, time will tell. My last apartment I really did love. Like it was really sad leaving that apartment. There's actually still scaffolding over that apartment building. I'm glad that I left when I did because they were like, oh, the scaffolding will come down in a few months. Liars, still up. I walk by it like every day on my morning walks. I will say I did love the light in my past apartment. I thought it was very golden and like, you know, it was just different than this light. Yeah, I guess in a nutshell, I did like the light in my past apartment better than the light here. But I also didn't like how that building was like pretty like old and kind of grimy. I didn't have a washer dryer. I didn't have a dishwasher. I had a doorman though, which I don't have here. So yeah, I've been very lucky though to have really great apartments thus far in the city. Like I've had really great experiences aside from the Hell's Kitchen apartment with the mice, which was still a great apartment, but the mice, guys, the mice. I can't get over the mice. I have not had a mouse, knock on wood, please knock on wood. There's no wood there, but I'm gonna knock. Hopefully I will not have any vermin in this apartment. Haven't had any so far. But yeah, I think overall have been very lucky to have great apartments. Like I'm feeling very lucky to live here. Anyway guys, okay, I gotta finish this glass of wine. I like need an ice cube. I'm like heating up, like I'm burning up Jonas Brothers right now, okay? Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble. I gotta eat some dinner because I'm like low-key buzzed off of 1 glass of wine. Am I okay? Hope you enjoyed this video. You can show me that you liked it by commenting, by giving me a thumbs up. and I will talk to you guys all in my next video. Bye.